Hello everybody and welcome to Blender Basics. This tutorial is going to be how to make a 2D logo 3D. So that'll be pretty exciting. And we're actually going to use a web-based software called Zarla, which is free. It's a website that generates logos for us. So for those of you who are new to SVGs, which are scalable vector graphics, and not sure where to find them, this is a great website to kind of just brainstorm on what's possible with them. So I'm going to go into this tab here and I'm going to do Blender Basics as just mine and create our free logo. And then I'm going to click out of this. And so in here you can do like what's your logo for. They kind of just figure out what icons to choose. So you can do all kinds of tags. I'm doing computer, but you can do like camper, copper, dumpster, all kinds of random stuff. Like this is just example ones, but you can type in pretty much anything and they'll generate it for you. So I'm going to just do computer and I'm going to do that. And then I'm going to enter my brand name. I'm going to do Blender Basics. And I don't need a slogan, but you're welcome to add one for yours if you just want to try it out. I'm going to hit next. It's going to ask why you need a logo, to selling products or offer services. I'm just going to do the offer services. And then I'm going to do choose icons for me, which will pre-generate a bunch of pre-made ones that they have made for us to tinker with. So you can go through here and there's tons of options. All kinds of stuff, it just keeps going down, but I'm actually going to go with this one right here for mine. And then once we get into the one we want, it'll open the editor tab in Zarla. So in here you can see your graphic that will be generated, along with it being on shirts or on apps, on mugs or on bags. So if you're doing like all kinds of testing for a product, this is a really good way of quickly workshopping what you would want and how it would look. So in here, all I'm going to do is go up and change the colors of my logo. So I'm going to make that orange and make this blue. And just so you know too, you can also change this right in here as well. So you can go down here to wherever mine is. Should be right in the middle here somewhere, I believe. Yep, right here. So I can literally go over, if I don't like it, I can change it to this just to test it, or this one, or this one. All kinds of stuff, and it'll keep my settings just the same as long as I don't change anything. It's a very, very cool tool. You change the size, the margins, everything in here. But once you're satisfied with what you want, you'll go up here to all changes saved, and you'll enter in your email, whichever one is your personal email, whatever you like to send to, and then hit free download, and that'll send this as a package to your email for you to download it in any format you want. So I've already done this step, so I'm going to hop over to the package that you'll be getting, which should be this tab here. Oh, sorry, this one. So this is how it's going to look when you get it. You'll have all kinds of stuff in here, just showing what it is, downloading your logo. It's real straightforward. These are all PNG variants, but the one we're looking for is the resizable logo files or the vector files. So if we go in here, you can see they're all in here that we want. So white on black SVGs, black on white SVGs, but the one we're looking for is the original on transparent. So go ahead and download that. And then once you have that installed onto your computer, we are ready to hop into Blender and make this a 3D object. Alrighty, so now we are in the Blender software here, and we are going to start off with getting everything taken care of. So just know this is not a full tutorial on the UI for this software. We'll be doing another tutorial on that later in the months to come. So this is pretty much going to be exactly the tools we're going to be using for this tutorial specifically. So I'm not going to be going crazy into depth about the windows or the tools, different tabs and all that stuff. I'm just going to give you exactly what you need to know for making this simplistic design. So the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to remove everything from our scene here. So up here is the scene collection, so it can show us all the objects in our scene. So we are going to go right over here and we are going to left click and drag to do a box select and then just delete everything. So at that point we have a completely clean canvas with nothing in it. From that point, we're going to head up to File here in the top left corner and go to Import, and we are going to go to our Scalable Vector Graphic, our SVG file, and click that. I have mine in Downloads here, so it should be the Blender Basics logo with transparent background. I'm going to hit that, and that's going to bring in our logo. So it may first look like nothing's there, and that's just because our logo is very, very small. But if you look up here in the Scene Collection, you'll see a set of curves. So that shows that our logo actually did come in. But if we zoom in really, really closely, you can see we now have our Blender Basics logo in the software. So I'm actually going to click Z here to give me a top view real easily. And you can now see that is in here. So to make it 3D, essentially what we have to do is I'm going to just show for an example, I'm going to click this. So you can see there's separate objects because Blender brings them in as curves. So if I click this, it just selects the orange. And if we head over here to these Windows tab down here, the Tools tabs, you'll see Context Object Data. And this is for curves. As you can see, it's the same kind of similar S shape as these. And we're actually going to click this geometry box here. And we are going to hit the Extrude. And we're going to just hit 1 and enter. So if we do that, it may not look like anything's happened, but if we turn, you can see it's now this crazy distorted mess. So I'm going to Control Z real quick. And the reason that happened is because I made the object 3D, but it's so small that 1 meter was massive. So all we have to do is make this bigger. So I'm going to go here again, and I'm going to go up here to where it says Object Mode. I'm going to go click that and hit the Edit Mode. Then I'm going to do another box select by holding down right mouse button. And that's just doing that. So I'm actually going to go back. I'm sorry, I missed a step here. I'm going to go back to object mode. We're first going to box select all of it. And then we're going to take it into edit mode. So now it should be all selected. And with that, we're going to hit our scale tool here. And we're going to bump up. Oh, it's still selecting just that. Sorry. Let me see here. I might be able to do it just in object mode. Okay, let me try that. So if I box select in here and we do scale, and we scale it up, there we go. Okay, so now if we just hit scale, it'll make our object much, much bigger. So now we have a nice big logo. So I'm actually going to give it a little bit more, I think, actually, even so than that. So go up here again, hit our selection tool, box select, scale, and just make that nice and big, and we'll zoom out and bring it back into the space. We'll hit the selection tool again, grab this, and then our move tool here with the 4 arrows, and then we'll actually move our guy back here and bring it back up to the center right there. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So then with that, we got our guy right back in here. Now it looks like there's a bit of a interesting. Okay, I must have came in with our logo there. It's a little offset. I'm gonna go into edit mode actually after seeing that, and that looks like a point. I'm actually gonna go in. Hopefully yours doesn't have this. I'm just gonna delete that point. So if I go in here to edit mode, I'm gonna delete vertices. Let me see here. Interesting. Sorry everyone, hopefully you're not experiencing the same thing here. Let me just see why that's happening. That's odd. Huh. Well anyways, now that we have that all in here in this space, I am going to go click this and see how we do with extruding. Maybe that'll show me a little bit. Yeah, so now if we hit the 1, you can see it's not nearly as bad. It's still kind of bad, but we can easily fix that again by just taking and dragging and resizing. So if we go back to scale again, so I don't know why it's doing this, but, oh, sorry, that's rotate. If we do scale, make that bigger once more. Yeah, that weird anchor point is giving us a weird time, but I am going to ignore it for now for the sake of the tutorial because I don't want to get things confusing. So hopefully yours just came in cleaner. I'm not sure why that happened with mine. But let's just say now we're back in here. It's nice and big. We'll click this and we will extrude 1. Let's see here. We'll go 0.001. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to actually do 0.005. Pretty cool. Do 0.003. Just get that nice happy medium. That looks pretty solid. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. I like that. So we'll do this one here too. Do 0.003. And then for these little guys, we'll do 0.003 as well. Awesome. So now we have our logo is now made into a 3D object. Now I'm not going to stop there. We got some cool stuff we can also do with this. So I'm going to take this here and I'm going to give it a bevel. So underneath this bevel tab, underneath geometry, I'm going to give it a depth. Oh, whoa, okay, really crazy. So we'll go 0.001, and you can see it adds that bevel on there. I'm going to do something even smaller. May not be able to register that actually, but let me see, maybe do 5. Okay, it's very, very slight, just because of the size here. Let's try this one. Let's see here. It's all about finding really the balance that you want. That looks good. So 0.0005 is what we're gonna stick with. So I'm gonna do the same with these, just to show for representation. And that's gonna give our logo a nice rounded edge. So you can see kind of how nice that looks now, kind of a cool bubbly feeling. So I'm gonna do the same with our text here. I'm actually gonna make that a little bit smaller than the 5, just to give it a nice rounded edge. And now you can see how nice that looks. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take up here and we're gonna select our logo, with our group select, and we're gonna rotate. So yeah, I guess this is just the main axis we have here, but I'm gonna click up here to get that view, and I'm gonna rotate in the x-axis here. That's so bizarre how this one spot's got it, but anyways, so I'm gonna rotate it so it's right side up here. Doesn't have to be perfect, but you know, closer the better. And I'm just gonna move it up along the y-axis here as well, just to get it back in the scene a bit. Zoom out here to get the view. Like I said, hopefully your guys' isn't as messy as mine. You won't have this weird little point, but now you can see we have our logo sitting up, which is very, very cool looking, and I'm very happy how that turned out. Looks very, very neat. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna apply some materials possibly to this, because they came in just as they are, which is fine, but we can tweak them up a little bit to make them a little cooler if we want. So I'm gonna go into this tab down here, which is the context for materials. So you can see it makes an SVG matte color as it came in, and you can see it generated that for every single piece of the SVG that came into the system. So I guess that black one must be that random one that showed up, but that's bizarre. Anyways, so what we're gonna do is we can actually edit these straight on if we want. You can like drag this to make this a little more metallic. I'm gonna drag this down to make the roughness down. And the best way of seeing this is actually, you can see there's not really a whole lot going on here as far as like rendering is concerned. That's because we're up here in the shading viewport. We want to kind of go over here to the 3D viewport, and that's going to make our lighting and everything a lot more rendered, how it's going to look when we do our final image. And then this is how it's actually going to look in our final image. You can see it got a lot darker and washed out because we have no lighting set up or anything. But this will give us a better idea of the materials and how they're looking in a general lighting perspective. So I'm going to bring the roughness down a bit, make that nice and sleek. I'm going to do the same with these. Roughness down. And I'm going to increase that metallic to about 0.5, do about 0.187. Do the same with this, bring that roughness down, and bring that metallic right up to about 0.1. Doesn't have to be equal, but you get the idea here. And you can see it made a really cool looking metallic glow to it. Nice shine. I'm going to do the same here, just ump that up just a little bit. I'm a sucker for metallic, so bring the roughness down. I'm not going to take it all the way down, but just a little bit, just to give it something. Very, very cool. What you can also do, which would be pretty interesting, is if we take our text here and we copy paste the object, and then we move it forward, which I guess it's stuck in here. So now we have a second one of these, and we go into our curve, and we make that extrude 0. Oops, sorry. I guess it's still on this one. Make the extrude 0. There we go. And then we just move it right on back over top. Like I said, hopefully yours will be easier to see the cursor to move it. But we move it right over top the other one, just slightly above it, just a little bit. We can do a pretty cool effect with this that I can show you guys. So just move it a little bit more. And now if we take this, we go into our materials tab and make this black, you can see now we have this really cool looking text here that has a cool 3D shadow going on, which is very, very cool. Now it's looking nice and sleek. So then what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a basic scene so we can capture our text, our graphic, and make it look in a cool, nice established shot. So all we're gonna do is we are going to go up to here to add, and we're gonna add a mesh, and we're gonna add a plane. And that plane is gonna be very small compared to our graphic here, so we're gonna take the scale tool and we're gonna scale that guy right on up, make him nice and big. Nice and big for the scene here, just to give ourselves some undercover. Okay, very, very cool. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and we're gonna head into edit mode here. And we're actually gonna take this here, we're gonna take this edge, we're gonna do edge select up here at the top, and we're gonna grab this edge at the end, and we're gonna hit perhaps E to extrude it, and then we're gonna tap Z to bring it up in the Z axis. Oh, sorry, missed a step there. Tap that, hit E, and then Z, bring it up in the axis there, and then if we hit right there, and then that is establishing our shot right there. And then if we wanted to as well, we could make a little bevel cut if we want to. Let me see, we might not need it though. Yeah, actually this might be enough. This is pretty standard. So if we go here, you can see we got our nice imagery done right on screen. If we go back into object mode now, and we go back to here and we select our graphic again, I'm gonna actually move it up just a little bit in the scene, try not to grab everything. If you need to, you can go in here too and hit, for control select if you can't really get it to work. So I'm gonna do that real quick as well. Or shift select, I'm sorry. And then just move that up just a tad. Oops, just gonna miss the one text there too. There we go. Just to bring it up a little bit. And then we're gonna go back into add up here, and we're gonna do add a light. We're gonna do just do a point light for now, just to keep things simple. Just bring that right on up here, and bring it a little forward. And then if we go up into this view, we should see, make it a little bit brighter. There we go. We have a very slight light. It's a small light. So you know what? Actually, better yet, here's what we'll do. We're gonna do add, and we're gonna go to light, and we're gonna go to area. And we're gonna bring that above our text. We're gonna scale that on up with our scale tool. And then we're gonna increase the power by 100. And we are going to do the size. Let's see here. I might have to do a little higher actually. 500, yeah, that'll do it. Bring that on up. And then if we want to tilt it toward, actually tilting won't do anything with that one, sorry. Bring that over here, bring that up. We're gonna increase the power again, we're gonna do 800. Let's see, just playing around with it here, just seeing how right we need to get it. Let's do 2000. Maybe one more. All right, cool, that looks pretty good. So yeah, now we got that, and then we'll take our planes here and go to the material tab, and we're gonna add new. And we're just gonna do a base color, and we're gonna take that and make that a cool looking purple. And now we have our scene pretty much set up. So if we wanna go to hit add, we can go to down here, we can go to camera, and we're gonna add a camera to the scene, and that camera is gonna spawn right down here at the bottom here, and move that right on out. So you can see this camera is this little kind of vector looking object down here with the lines. So if we go up here and we go to view and we go to cameras, active camera, we can see our camera's view actually. And if we hold, not that, if we hold G, we should be able to move the camera, I believe. Blender's acting up for me today. I'm gonna hit the middle mouse button to get out of that real quick. I'm just gonna sit this back, move it a little bit farther out, move it a little further up. Kind of just eyeballing it, trying to get it as close as I can to where I want. Let's see here, align view, align active camera. Ah, okay, we could do that as well. If we want to sit here and go like this. And we do view, and we do align active camera to view. You see, we're almost getting there. Just takes a little bit of work with the cameras. Just trying to get exactly where you want it here. So if I go to here, you can see we get a better view exactly where our camera's at. Just gonna move that back, move them a little over. Let's try to get them nice in the middle there. Back them up just a bit. Raise them up a tad. Bring them right over there. Awesome. And then if we go in here and we try our view again, we're getting pretty close. There is a better way to do this. My keyboard is acting up at this moment, so it's just not giving me the key commands I need. So I apologize that it's being a little tedious. Hopefully your guys' stuff is a little better, but we will be doing a whole course on the cameras later on as well once I get my stuff to work out a little better than it is. So hopefully you'll all be here for that as well. I can redeem myself in this video. And I appreciate your all's patience going through with me on this. I know it's probably been a bit of a time and a half trying to see this all working, but I appreciate the patience, as I said. All right, we're getting very close to what we want here. Just need to get a little bit more precise. So I'm gonna zoom it in a little bit more. So close. Okay, there we go. Let's get the drag function in there. I'm just going to bring it in a bit closer to our object. We're going to try this one more time and see what happens. Oh, we're so close. Just need to zoom out just a little bit. Okay, there we go. That's a pretty solid view right there. There we go. Cool. Awesome. And then just to give ourselves a little more room, I'm going to go in here and I'm just going to attack these sides. I'm going to shift select to get both sides here and get that. And I'm going to do a quick E to extrude just to give us a little more room in case the camera decides to go out of frame there on the render. Just tap an X to keep that nice and straight. Back into object mode, and now we're ready for the render. So head up here to render and hit render image, and there we go. We have our full 3D logo with lighting, texturing, and SVG pretty much come to life. There's a little bit more to that than this, but this is, like I said, it's a very basic tutorial just to get you started with Blender. You know, obviously there'll be more in-depth Blender tutorials that we'll have that'll cover more of the tools, the functionality, and the cameras. Hopefully that'll go better next time. It won't be so much more trial and error. But yeah, that's essentially the tutorial on how to make a cool 3D logo from an SVG file. So thank you for joining me, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.